loves, happy Sunday. I hope you all are doing fabulous. So I am back today with a chit chat, get ready with me. I'm just going to be talking about love and relationships and all of the things because we are in February. Just giving you a little bit of my backstory, my journey while we chit chat and just kind of like do our makeup and stuff. That is what today's video will be about. If you guys are new to my channel, hi, hello, my name is Brittany and I love to talk about fashion and beauty and style and all of that fun stuff. If you guys aren't already following me, make sure that you guys follow me over on my other social media platforms as well. Everything that I'll be talking about, I'll make sure to link down in the bottom bar below. And then of course, if any of the products are sold out, I would definitely make sure and link similar items down below. And then as always, if you guys have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave those down below. As always with these type of videos, grab your favorite beverage, relax. You could do your makeup with me. I love when people are like, girl, I was doing my makeup with you as I was getting ready for work. I love that because I do that too with other YouTubers. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get right into the video. So hi loves, how are you? How is everything going? How is your February going? How has your year been going? I felt like this has been a really good February. I mean, January, we all know, started off very just chaotic and crazy. I feel like February has been a really good month for a lot of people, especially Black people. I just feel like Black people have really been minding their business and drinking their water this month and just excelling and reaching goals and traveling and finding love and all the things in between. It's like my other little like get ready with me videos. This one's just gonna be real chill, real casual. I think given the month that we're in, I kind of want to talk about love and dating and red flags and all of that in between because we are in the love month. So I kind of just want to touch on like my personal background and I don't know, just kind of give my perspective on things, just chit chat and do my makeup with y'all. So I am feeling very red, like I kind of want to do a red look. And I know I used this palette in my last video, but I didn't like really use it. So in this video, I'm definitely going to be using the Too Faced Appley in Love palette. It has a lot of like red tones and berry tones and just some really pretty colors in here. I want to play in that, and pretty much everything else that I'll be using in the video are all items that you guys have seen me use before. So if there is anything new that I'm using, I'll definitely make sure to let you guys know. So I went ahead and added this lip treatment to my lips. I've been really liking this. This is the Too Faced Pillow Balm lip treatment. Too Faced actually ended up sending me like a bunch of these and I really like these. I feel like these lip treatments are really nourishing on the lips and I just really like these. As far as my brows, I went ahead and just started them, and of course I always use the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow freeze. I love this stuff. And then I follow that up with the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil and then also the NYX micro brow pencil. So now I'm going to go in and just kind of clean up my brows, and of course I always use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is going to be in the color Cookie. It's definitely one of my favorite concealers. This is also the concealer that I love to use on my under eyes as well. It's just a really good concealer, and to be honest, this concealer to me is one of the best concealers. It's just so good. It's so creamy. It's not drying or anything, and it is just a really good concealer to use. Like I said, I kind of wanted to just touch on love and relationships, just kind of everything in between. First of all, shout out to everybody who got engaged this month. I feel like I saw a lot of marriage proposals this month and I love that. I love the union of marriage. I think that marriage is a beautiful thing, and I feel like for the longest time there's been this push for people to, I don't know, stray away from getting married. Like they villainized it, they talked about it, they demeaned it, they've said that it wasn't worth it. I feel like society has tried to convince women that marriage is not going to stop a man from mistreating you, or a marriage is not going to stop a man from hurting you or from lying to you, and I feel like that is a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer that of course you can get mistreated in a marriage and you can get mistreated not in a marriage, but at the same time, just on a psychological level, there's a certain loyalty and commitment and just honesty, just pure honesty that someone has when they are married to another person. Married to another person for the right reasons. Let me start there. If you are somebody who is new to my channel, you may not know this, but I was in a 13-year relationship. So from the time that I was 17 up until 31, I was in a long-term committed relationship. And basically it was one of those like high school sweetheart type of relationships. We were in the same class together, we worked at the same mall together, and it just kind of happened. You know, we ended up moving in with each other. I want to say I was either 21 or 22. I think it was 21 is when we moved in with one another and lived with one another for 10 years. I know we just talked about marriage, and a lot of people have asked, well, why didn't you get married? Why didn't y'all get married? How come you didn't get married? And I have to remind people that, number one, we met when we were 17. I don't believe in getting married just for the sake of getting married. Although marriage is definitely about love, I do think that having a stable foundation is a part of marriage. And I'm getting ready to go in with this shade right here. I don't care who you are. There is no 18-year-old that is mature enough to get married. There isn't a 21-year-old that I feel like is mature enough to get married. And in fact, I don't believe that anyone whose brain hasn't fully developed should be getting married. And your brain doesn't fully develop until what? You're 25, 26. Not only was that a big factor, but also, you know, we were in college too. Obviously, right after high school, you end up going to college, and I witnessed friends who were in college who wound up getting married, who went broke, who went into debt. They went into debt for a wedding, and I just always knew there was no way that I was gonna want to go into debt for a wedding. I never thought that was smart. I still don't think that's smart. There is no world where you should put your livelihood and put your finances on the line to have a wedding. When you're in college, when you're working 2 jobs and you're trying to pay for school, because I paid for school out of my pocket, you don't really have your career, you're just not ready for marriage. You're just not. I felt like I genuinely didn't have my footing in my career. I think that he also felt this way too. Like, we didn't really have our footing in our careers until honestly our late 20s, early 30s. That is when both of us, you know, we weren't in school anymore. We had really good jobs, and not even just good jobs. We actually had careers. You know, this is at a point where we actually had careers. I felt like if it would have ended up working out, that would have been the perfect time to move forward and to get married and, you know, take the next step. Buying a house, getting married, having children, yada, yada, yada. January of 2020 is when he ended up proposing. It was a complete shock to me. He did it in front of my family. And then March of 2020, March of that same year is when the pandemic happened. Obviously, whatever plans we would have had planned was going to be paused because, you know, we couldn't really plan a wedding during the middle of a pandemic. So I just figured, you know, why not take our time? The fun part about it is that it wasn't going to last. August of that year, I ended up getting a DM from a girl who ended up reaching out to me, who let it be known that she was having a 5-month-long affair with my fiance. Like, when I tell people I really do be standing on business, I'm for real about that. The day that I found out is when I ended that relationship. I literally let go of a 13-year-long relationship in a span of 10 minutes and just never looked back. That is like my backstory. Oh, hold on guys, I can't talk and do my liner at the same time. I'm using the e.l.f. H2O proof liner pen. This is definitely one of my favorite liners. And so with that being said, one of the things that a lot of people have asked me post, you know, that whole situation, especially like right after it happened, was how did I manage to move on so quickly? Because friends and family and just people who were in my life just, you know, they were shocked that I was able to move on so quickly, and not move on to like dating or anything like that. I didn't let it stop me from anything. You know, I didn't curl up in a ball. It was just like I went through the motions, I felt the feelings, and then I just moved on with life. And one of the things that I tell people is that my relationship was not bad. It was a good relationship that had some bad moments, but overall I actually had a really good relationship. It was very peaceful. I didn't have a lot of drama. I didn't have a lot of chaos. I never had to stop any of my goals or dreams or stop any project that I was working on. I never stopped anything. I didn't drop out of college. I didn't have somebody telling me to not chase my career. I didn't have any of that. And even when it ended peacefully as well. I mean, aside from, you know, of course I cussed his ass out a bunch of times, but you know, once it was done, he moved his stuff out 7 days later, and that was it. He never bothered me after that. I never bothered him after that. And here we are, you know, 5 years later, still thriving. And I think one of the biggest attributes of that relationship ending the way that it did, and you know, the way that I was able to carry myself post relationship, was the fact that I loved and respected myself more than I did the idea of a relationship. And I think that that is where a lot of women, unfortunately, tend to go wrong. Like, I am witnessing something in real time that's happening right now with somebody who, to be honest, she's extremely desperate and she's willing to hold on to a relationship that is toxic, that is failing, and she's willing to hold on to something with a man who quite literally has told her he does not like her. He's with her out of pity, she's with him out of desperation, and it's just not a good relationship. Hold on guys, my battery's getting ready to die and I'm gonna pop on my other lash, so I'll be right back. All right my loves, I'm back. Sorry about that. My camera had overheated and I was like in the middle of popping on a lash. I went ahead and popped on my Ardell 424 lashes. You guys already know I love those lashes. Ardell, speaking of, actually ended up sending me a huge package of lashes, of like their individual pre-glued lashes. So I definitely want to play around with those, but I don't know if like they saw this video or what, but thank you Ardell. But what I was saying is that I feel as if society has conditioned women to rush and to not take their time and to rush into marriage, rush into having kids, rush into finding anyone. You know, it's like, don't vet them, don't worry about them, let all the red flags go out the window. And I feel like that is why so many women nowadays are having a really hard time, because they are lowering their standards, and they shouldn't. I promise you there are really great guys out there. Do not let the online noise try to convince you otherwise. There are still great men out there. There are men who pay for dates, who will still court you, who are still respectful of you, who will pour into you. Like, there's a lot of really great men out there, but I think that sometimes as women we tend to be in such a rush. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with society, family pressure, biological pressure, and I think that we tend to overlook a lot of those things and we jump in head first to the first person that is nice to us. That is where, you know, unfortunately women end up finding themselves in really difficult and traumatic situations, and I just want better for my girly. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and go on with all the face stuff. Everything that I'll be using on my face are all items I have talked about before. So my foundation, my primer, like I'm telling you, I have been eating this primer up. I love this primer so much. My blush, my contour, all of that stuff is going to be stuff that you guys have seen before. So I'm going to just yap and talk while I do the rest of my face. But yeah, what I was saying, to just kind of piggyback off of that, was one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of people think that I moved on so quickly was because I had my own hobbies. I had my own interests, I had my own goals. I had things that I had set out for myself that just didn't involve my man. And I think that that's the key. I don't want women to lose themselves. By the way, I'm going in with the Born This Way concealer, but this is going to be in the color Chai, just to cover up some of the dark spots. I hate to see women lose themselves in a relationship. It's like your man's friends become your friends. You stop doing the things that you love and you stop pouring into yourself, and you start exclusively pouring into your man. And I feel like when you do that, you are setting yourself up for disaster, honestly, because what happens when all those things go away? You know, what happens when you break up? What happens when that person leaves you, or you leave them? What happens when all of that goes away? And I know a lot of women tend to just get wrapped up in doing everything with like your partner, and I get it. Like, when you are in a good relationship, your partner is your best friend. You want to travel together, you want to do things together, you want to explore, you know, new restaurants and go to different art shows and do all of those things together, and that is totally normal. Like, I get that, but don't forget about doing things just for you. Like, if you enjoy painting, still paint. You know, you don't have to necessarily drag your partner to a painting class with you. Just do it on your own. Always make sure that you are keeping in contact with your friends. Your partner should not be the only friend that you have in your life, and I think that that dynamic is very unhealthy, and you will find yourself in a very codependent relationship with that mindset. You should have your own friends, they should have their own friends, you should have your own hobbies, they should have their own hobbies. That is the healthiest way to navigate a relationship. By the way, I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Finish Powder before I go in with my foundation. Like, my hobby when I was in a relationship was blogging. It was creating content. It was doing stuff like this, like just sitting in front of a camera and just doing my makeup and talking about makeup and clothing and fashion and just all the things. Like, that was my hobby, and you know, now it's a job. Those type of things were of interest to me. I never asked my ex to like edit my videos or anything like that. All right, next I'm going in with my foundation. I'm gonna do the Estee Lauder Double Wear alongside the Too Faced Born This Way soft matte oil control foundation in the color Chai. I'm gonna mix those two together. Although I never asked my ex to be involved in any of my creative endeavors, he was somebody who, just because based off his personality, he was just somebody who he was a natural cheerleader for people. He naturally cheered me on. He would ask me, hey, do you want me to take your photos for you? And he would keep me accountable for taking photos and for shooting content. And he was very, very supportive of my career. Again, I think that's one of the reasons why I can give really good advice about being in a relationship and out of a relationship, because my relationship, while it was long and whatnot, it wasn't traumatic. It was actually, to be quite honest, it was actually a very healthy relationship. When I look at other people's relationships and, you know, just based off things that I've witnessed over the past few years that have happened to friends and family and whatnot, I don't know if I just got lucky, but this really wasn't a dramatic or chaotic relationship, which, you know, by the grace of God, thank you, like it wasn't that. But again, I think that it wasn't a chaotic or dramatic relationship because we had our own motion, we had our own goals, we had our own things that we were interested in, we had our own friend groups, we had other interests aside from just being in a relationship with one another. So that's definitely something I would recommend anybody who's in a relationship to, you know, just consider. I also think it's really, really important when you're in a relationship to establish your boundaries and establish your hard nose. So like for me, I knew this from the age of 17. I knew that my hard nose was always going to be infidelity and abuse. Those are two things that I will never compromise on. I don't care if I've been married 100 years. Those are two things that I will never sit back and compromise on. And it doesn't have so much to do with the action itself. I mean, obviously cheating and abuse is horrendous, but it has more to do with me and the way that I know for a fact, the way that I'll view a man after he does those things. In my ex's case, there was going to be no way possible that I was going to be able to look at him as a man. I just was not going to be attracted to that. I just knew that for my sanity and honestly for his, that it just was not going to work. If I don't view you as a man who is worth my respects, if you get to a point where, you know, your presence no longer excites me, I cannot view you as a strong man. I just can't. Men who do things like that are inherently weak men. And that is how I was going to view him from that point on. I was just always going to view him as a weak man. And to be honest, you can't build a good foundation on weakness. Like the disrespect, the lying, the infidelity, all that stuff alone was more than enough for me to dip out. But also, like I said, I knew that if I stayed with him that I would end up being somebody who was just going to be disrespecting myself, and I was just going to be laying up every night with a man that I viewed was weak. And that's not fair. You know, I do think that people can change, but I don't feel like it is up to the person who was hurt in the situation to be a part of that change. It's not my place to hold your hand and to navigate through your weaknesses. That's crazy, you know, and I think that society has conditioned women to stay, to put up with it, to stick it out, to see it through. And to be honest, the healing part of it is not necessarily on the woman. Like, you shouldn't be asking the person who was victimized in the situation to hold the person who victimized them down. Like, that's just not how it should work. This was something that he needed to figure out on his own. You need to figure out why it is that you lie. You need to figure out why it is that you needed acceptance and validation from other people. You needed to figure those things out, not me. That's another thing that I would encourage women to pay attention to. You know, like, there is no reward in struggle. Like, there is no gold sticker that you get at the end for being known as a woman who stuck it out, or who saw it through, or who stayed through the ups and downs in a relationship. You know, there's no reward for that. And so I say all that to say, make sure that before you even enter into a relationship, that you know what your hard nose may be. Those are two things that are definitely my hard nose. But for some people, you know, cheating may not be a hard no for them. And if I'm being honest, I feel like a lot of people, infidelity is not a hard no for them. I mean, if it makes sense to you, it makes sense to me. You just got to figure out what your hard no's are going to be in a relationship. And when I talk about, like, when I say abuse, I mean abuse of me, my children, like anybody around me. If I ever found out my husband was, you know, hurting my children or abusing my children, it would be a wrap. It would be over. I wouldn't think twice about it. All right, my loves. So I just went in and added some bronzer. I used my favorite, which is the Too Too Faced Dark Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I love this bronzer. It's just so pretty. And now I'm just gonna go in and add some blush. I don't remember where I left off. I feel like I was talking about like your boundaries, but yeah, stick to your boundaries. Make sure you implement them, and just make sure you have your own thing in a relationship. You know, you never want to come off as desperate. I can tell you right now, as somebody who, you know, I had my dad around growing up, I have brothers, I have male cousins, I have male friends. One of the things that I will say is that men do not like desperate women. They will tolerate them, but they do not care for them. They do not view desperation as being something that is attainable long term. Again, they will tolerate it, they will put up with it, they will use it. The only thing that you have going for you is your status in a relationship. That's kind of sad, to be honest, because you're worth so much more, you are so much more, and you have to figure out who you are outside of a title. So make sure that you have your own thing going on for you. That way, also, you know, when somebody tries to try you, like my ex tried to try me, I don't know what he thought. Like, I don't know if he thought that I was one of them. I don't know if he thought that I was gonna be some dummy who stayed, but I think that I also just didn't stay because I have my own. I knew that wherever I landed, I would be landing on my feet. All right, my love, so I'm gonna go in with some blush. I'm gonna do the Cloud Blush from Too Faced, and this is going to be in the color Tequila Sunset. This blush is really pretty. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's coming up a little bit more nude on camera, but it's like a orangey pinky color. All right, my love, so we are pretty much almost done. All I'm going to do now is just add some liner to my waterline, throw on some mascara. I'm gonna just use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I'm gonna keep the lips really neutral just because the eyes are so bold. I'm actually gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner. This is in the color Foxy Brown. It's like a brownie color. I really like this, and I'm gonna go over it with my Pink Lily like lip pencil. I forgot what this color is, but I'll link it down below. And then I'm gonna finish it off with my favorite lip gloss. This is the Too Faced Lip Injection Lip Gloss. This is in the color Glossy and Bossy, and it's just like the perfect nude gloss. So I'm gonna finish that off while I still chit chat with you guys. So one of the other things that I wanted to say is don't be afraid to be single, especially as a woman. It is okay. Focus on yourself, to want to better yourself, to do things for yourself first. If I'm being so honest with y'all, I think one of the best things that could have happened in my life was my breakup. It allowed me to focus on myself. I would have never experienced singleness. You know, I would have never experienced this chapter of my life had it not been for my relationship ending. I did not meet him in college, or I wasn't living on my own when I met him. I met him in high school, so I was still living at home. And so here I am going from a dynamic of living with my parents to then living with my ex. I would have never known what it felt like to live on my own and to just discover myself. I think being single is a beautiful way to just discover yourself, to nurture yourself, to travel, to pour into yourself, to have new experiences. And I just think that there's nothing wrong with being single, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be in a relationship either. I think both things are true. I know for me, like, I was definitely not ready to settle down with anybody else. Post my relationship, I wasn't ready to jump right back into the dating game or settle down with anybody else. My whole young adult life, my late teens, all of my 20s, and then my early 30s was Brittany in a relationship with somebody. So there was no way I was gonna turn around and then jump back into another relationship. I think that when a relationship ends, instead of feeling sorry for people, I think that we should congratulate them. It's like, congratulations, you're one step closer to finding your person. Congratulations on your new chapter in life. And of course I'm saying that in a very flippant and like casual way. You know, breakups are heartbreaking and they are devastating and so on. But I think that the positive side of it is that when a relationship ends, it does give you a chance to find yourself, to focus on yourself, to pour into yourself, and to work on yourself, because you don't have anything else to focus on. You know, I mean, unless you're a parent or something like that. You know, if you're a childless single woman like I am, you know, the only thing you really have to focus on is just yourself. I was just so happy that I've been able to use the past 5 years to do just that. Like, I traveled, I do wonderful things with my friends. Like, I'm not necessarily dating, but I am having fun, if you get my drift. It's just fun. Like, it's just fun. I do know that one day I do want to have kids and I want to get married, and so obviously I'm not getting any any younger, so these are things that I need to start thinking about and looking at. I said last year that I was probably going to start dating, and that didn't happen. Like, I just got really busy with life, and I just wanted to just kind of do me. And I don't know, like, I think that there are people who are meant to be in a relationship, and I also think that there are people who are meant to just be single, and I feel like I fall somewhere in between. Yes, I can do a relationship, but I also really enjoy being single. I enjoy my own space, I enjoy my own company, I enjoy being on Brittany's time. I'm gonna go in with the MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in the color Superb. I love this. It's just a beautiful highlighter, a good OG highlighter. I'm gonna just put that inner corner of my eye. I know that whoever comes into my life next has to be somebody that gives me space, if you know what I mean. Like, not necessarily space in like a disrespectful way, but like space as in I will always need to have my own like beauty glam room, filming room thing. I will always need to have that. I will always need to have my own extra space. I will always need to have my own friend group. I will always need my own time to be able to do my own things. Like, I cannot have a man who was all up under me 24/7. Like, that will drive me crazy. I just can't have it. Like, I know people love to say that like women are clingy. Oh my God, men are so clingy. Men, if they had it their way, they would be in your space 24/7. We even see it now, like if you look online, like when girls are trying to talk to one another, you know that sound from Dance Moms? It's like this aching, agonizing voice. That's how I feel. Men who are always like in women's business, honestly, men are the clingy ones, not women. It's men who are the clingy ones. That's just where I am right now. I'm still on the whatever happens, happens track. Like, I am very open to love. And that's one of the things that I would recommend too, is that, you know, don't let anybody else's experience or story stop you from finding love. I think that love is a beautiful thing. Marriage is a beautiful thing. I think that having children is a beautiful thing, and just experiencing life with one another. It gets no better than that. Having somebody who is your built-in like best friend and champion and support system and protector. I think that those things are so beautiful, and it can make life very fulfilling and fun. I definitely wish that for all of you. Like, if you are somebody who's in a season of life who wants to be in a relationship, I say go for it. To be honest, I think that that is why I like gone anywhere as far as like another relationship. I think it's just because I was just never open to it. It wasn't my time. I think that the universe will give you exactly what you're looking for when it is your time. Once you get to a place in life where you feel comfortable with yourself, when you have done certain things on your own, when you have poured into yourself and you step back and you're like, all right, I am now ready for love. I promise you, that'll be the moment. It's like clockwork. That'll be the moment that the universe will literally send you your person. The universe will give you exactly what you're looking for when the time is right and when you are open for it. So that is my backstory. We will see where this year will take us. I'm in a really good place in life, and I just feel really good, and we will see where we go from here. Who knows? By the end of the year, might be engaged, might be married, might be pregnant, might be all the things. We will see where life takes us. All right, my loves. So that is it. This is the final look. I feel like this look was like really easy to achieve. Like I said, I'll make sure to link everything down in the bottom bar below. Those are just my thoughts on love and relationships. Of course, my backstory and just navigating that. I love love. I think it is beautiful. I think it is a wonderful thing to experience in life, and I truly hope that any of you guys who are out there who want to experience that one day, that you do. And I know for a fact you will. Like, I'm going to go ahead and put out that good energy now, that you will experience love, like you will experience all the wonderful things that come with being in a relationship. And I just hope that you all have wonderful, healthy, whole, long-lasting relationships. And then for those who are on a journey of self-discovery, whether you're in a relationship or single, I also hope that that journey is beautiful, that it's positive, that it's something that, you know, elevates you to the next level and allows you to grow and just prosper. I think that the relationship and the dynamic and the love that you have for yourself will always outweigh the relationship that you have with a partner. You can't have a healthy and happy and whole relationship with somebody else if that same energy is not being poured back into yourself. So I hope that you guys continue to have that same energy within yourself. All right, my loves, with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful and fabulous Sunday. Be safe, relax, have a wonderful week. I love you, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye, my loves.